The most successful women on this planet are not going to be the ones who love themselves the most. They're not going to be the prettiest. They're not going to be the most educated. They're not going to be the most resourced. They're going to be the ones who know how to make themselves move. And you figure out how to make yourself move by understanding your emotional state and what makes you move, and then what makes other people move. The world has taught us some of the most fundamentally useless ways of thinking about success that actually go against our biology when it comes to achievement and happiness, success and peace. We are taught to push through pain at any cost, to use pressure to persist, focus on the goal, and do whatever it takes to get there. This is useful if the goal is to not starve to death. But success by any means necessary comes at a remarkable cost to our future self. Our mantra around here is not a penny from pressure, only pleasure. The More Alive podcast exists to lead us into a new way of achieving and replace outdated advice that threaten the dream life that actually makes us feel more alive. I'm your host, Andrea Crowder, mom, truth teller, and lover of daydreaming, here to help create a world where we all feel more alive. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the More Alive podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Crowder. And if you guys didn't know, we have a special little link underneath in the description area of all of our content where you guys can actually send in a voicemail, ask a question, and we can create an episode just for you. So Victoria, thank you for sending in a special request. And I'm going to go ahead and play that right now. And then we are going to just riff and chat like you are here in the studio with me, and we are going to answer your question today.
Hey, Andrea, this is a awesome concept. So I haven't listened to this episode with Kate yet. So if you address this in there, then maybe you could do a deeper dive. But what are practical, like, what is this whole concept of self-concept? Like, what are practical exercises that somebody who's had some success in life but has never fully quite hit where they want to go can really deeply get into the ingrained self-beliefs that I don't matter, it's not safe to be seen, I don't know how to figure it out, I don't know how to hold wealth. Like, somebody with that kind of mindset who had a really chaotic childhood that was very hot and cold and didn't have a lot of consistent parenting. So I think on a deeper level, I don't feel like people actually want to help or care about me or that I deserve that. But anyway, that's side stuff. What are practical exercises to expand the nervous system to receive wealth and also expand desire for visibility and to want to succeed in a way that doesn't feel like I'm working so hard? Because it still feels like that I'm working really hard to make things happen. And then when I sit down to actually do what I need to do, then it seems like I shut down.
Oh my God, so many good pieces. And this is why I love the voicemail feature, because not only do I get to hear the nuances, especially when you guys just riff from the heart, but there were so many pieces here. Number one, at the end, I'm just going to reference my notes here. At the end, Victoria was talking about, I just don't want to have to work so hard. What that tells me right away is that it's not that she's working too much, it's that she's doing the wrong things, right? And so every action is preceded by an emotional state. And if all you ever focused on was curating your emotional state, habits, patterns, behaviors, and then your experience of the actual action can change. So when you guys hear Napoleon Hill say, Think and Grow Rich, or read the book, there's a lot of great content in the book, phenomenal book. But the concept Think and Grow Rich is flawed because we don't actually think to grow rich, we feel to grow rich. If you guys didn't know this, neuroscientists can now predict up to 11 seconds before we make a decision, what decision we'll make. How do they do that? That's because an emotion will precede the actual decision. So just little vulnerable moment. Like Keith and I had, a moment the other day and I got really frustrated, and it's like those human life moments, and we're cleaning out the garage and there's a million things going on. Life is lifing. He's, got a business and a job, and I'm running my company, and his dad isn't well and is in the hospital, and like my son is over, and like we're doing all of these different things, and it's exhausting, right? And you know, it's one of those moments that can often lead to like where are your triggers, where's your unhealed shit. And I remember him informing me that something was shifting. And I was like, shit, I thought I was going to have this help. I don't have this help anymore. I'm getting ready to leave. Yesterday, like I kind of took the brunt of like the home responsibilities. I thought I was going to have additional assistance today. And all of a sudden I started getting like really upset. And I was just like frustrated, not mad at him, like just genuinely frustrated. And he's like, why are you getting upset at me? And I'm like, I'm not upset at you. Like, I'm just frustrated. And he's like, it sounds like you're upset at me. And I'm like, I hear that. I'm just expressing that I'm upset. And he's like, but what's wrong? And I'm like, I literally don't fucking know. All I know is that there's an emotion that's coming up. And I said to him, I'm like, give me a second. And I had to like pull myself away so that what came next, the actual thoughts came many, 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 many seconds later after the emotional state. And I didn't even know what to say to him at first. This is my job. I'm like, this is my area of expertise. And the person that I love and I are having this like sense of conflict. And he's like, just tell me what's wrong and I can fix it. And I'm like, I literally don't know. Like, give me a second. I'm sure we can all think of many, many times in our lives where we've had experiences like that, where a big emotion came first and then later we were able to interpret it and understand it, maybe. I don't know how many times there's been, especially preceding me, like getting really, really good at this work. I didn't get good at this until I was 30 fucking 8. Like I went my whole life of not understanding. I'm telling you guys, the most successful women on this planet are not going to be the ones who love themselves the most. They're not going to be the prettiest. They're not going to be the most educated. They're not going to be the most resourced. They're going to be the ones who know how to make themselves move. And you figure out how to make yourself move by understanding your emotional state and what makes you move, and then what makes other people move. So the conversation that we're about to get into is delicious. It's juicy. It's crucial. It's fucking critical. All women need to know this. And most people don't even know. Most people have no idea why they have an emotion, what it's for, what's happening to them. We just often feel like we are almost like a victim sometimes to our emotions, or to the person that we think is causing them. AKA, like a lot of times we think it's like, oh, my partner pissed me off. That wasn't actually the reality of what was happening. He did nothing. I just happened to be having an emotional state. I'm not going to take you guys into like the childhood, pieces that popped up next. Not important, but okay. So here's what I want to express first. Number one, there are some really practical exercises. I'm going to give you one of them where you can start to expand capacity for more. I'm going to give you guys one exercise that you can take away. But here's the caveat. 98% of people that hear this right now are going to hear it and they're going to be like, that couldn't be it. Because they're going to be like, it's too simple. 2% of the people that hear what I'm about to tell you and actually execute it will change massive shit in their life. I've talked about this before. It's not the first time that I've ever said it. If you've been in my world for a while, you're going to be like, oh, here she goes again. But let me ask you the question. If you've heard it before and you still haven't executed, this is me challenging you. Are you a 2%er or a 98%er? I know that every single person listening to this right now is a 2%er. It's just we are so conditioned to think that it has to be complex in order for it to work. In fact, if you want to scale, if you want to take any idea and scale it, the simpler you keep it, the better. The more I'm like recording for the first time a solo episode in an actual studio and I'm like surrounded by cords. I walked in and I was like, you know what? The room that we thought that we wanted to record in isn't the room. Can we move things? And at first I was thinking it was so simple, just like carry a few things in. And she's like, well, the cords. right? The simpler that we keep things, the faster that we can execute it with less friction. So I'm going to give you guys a simple thing and be the person, be that 2%er that's like, I like simple. If it's simple, it must be a great key. That's the way to think about this, about what I'm about to say. So many of you guys have heard me talk about the concept of Go Me Club. Here's what happens. We have this big vision, this big goal, and we are working really hard towards it. What she expressed to me, what Victoria said was, I'm working really hard, and she made it sound like it was exhausting. So it's one of two things. Either she's not doing things that move the needle towards what she wants, or she's executing it in a way that doesn't feel good, or actually it's one of three things, or it feels heavier because she doesn't understand she's made progress. If you guys have heard me say this before, hear it again. It's one of my favorite quotes of all time. This is an Andrea original, is progress is humanity's kink, and we are all dirty little sluts for it. Remember that, take it, own it, have it forever. But when you understand that you've just made a little bit of progress, all of a sudden your energy gets excited. Your mind is like, oh my gosh, it's working. Let me offer more energy to be applied towards this thing. If your mind is like, I'm doing all of these things and nothing is working, it's like conserve resources, distract you, send you off to do laundry, send you off to do easier tasks, but not actually needle moving tasks. So you will be more excited to do needle moving tasks when you know that you're making progress. So I call this Go Me Club. It's so simple. You're going to open up a note on your phone, and at the top of your note, you are going to itemize specific goals or intentions that you're holding for yourself and for your business, your dream, your vision, whatever it is. And so think about the things where you're like, okay, if I achieve this next milestone, it will feel good, it will feel satisfying, and it will let me know I'm moving towards my goal. The first time I ever did this was at the beginning of 2022. This was the month where I had left my marriage. I had just the month before, decided that I was separating from my husband of almost 2 decades. It was literally one of the hardest times in my life. Everything felt harder than it really was because I was going through massive transformation, massive shift. My sense of safety was rocked, my sense of self, my sense of belief, my sense of commitment and devotion. Like my identity all around was fucking rocked. And so I just opened up this note on my phone and I was like, okay, if I'm going to be able to do this, if I'm going to be able to survive on my own, if I'm going to be able to take care of my kids on my own, what is this going to look like if it's just going to be me? I need to have very clear milestones and I need to know that I'm hitting them. And so I just opened the note on my phone at the top and I was like, okay, I want to create this amount, this much of recurring income, monthly recurring revenue. And so I started to track that of like, okay, at the beginning I was at nothing. I don't think I had much recurring revenue at all. So small goals like $10,000 worth of recurring revenue, $20,000 worth of recurring revenue. And look, I already had a team at this time. So it wasn't like I didn't have responsibilities. I didn't have overhead. I just knew that like this was going to be the thing. If I focused on only one of the numbers in my business that was going to make the greatest impact in my belief that I can actually do this and my knowingness that it's actually happening, it was to track my monthly recurring revenue. This was the thing that I knew that was going to set me up, my future self up for future freedom. And knowing that I was going to be able to do this without it feeling like, okay, every single month I'm like starting over at zero and I have to like hustle to make payroll again and make sure that I'm able to pay my bills and take care of my kids all at the same time. So the number one number that I focused on first was monthly recurring revenue. Anything that had to do with payment plans. So looking at like my product suite, what is it that I have that have payment plans? And were there any other ideas for payment plans? At the time, I was just taking products that I had already created and I was really focused on the ones that had payment plans and starting to build up that monthly recurring revenue. So I would set it of like a goal first, like this is my my big goal at first was $50,000 in recurring revenue. I thought it was going to take me so long to get there. And I want to say by the middle of the year, we had already hit that goal. And then by August of that year, we had our first ever $100,000 month. The only thing that I had changed in my habits and patterns was this. It was my Go Me Club. So I tracked every single month. I just wrote in the note, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, all the way through the end of the year. And then I tracked my progress. Okay. Like we went up by $2,000 monthly recurring revenue, but I didn't just track the outcome. This is really important. This is the nuance. This is the key. This is the difference maker. I spent more time tracking in my Go Me Club the behaviors that created the outcome. So I would go in there and I would say, I set up an autoresponder, like so that I didn't have to continue to respond to people personally in the DMs. I was still doing a lot of like one-on-one DM selling. And I was like, I want to be able to set things up to where I don't have to personally be in the DMs all the time to make a sell. So I would set up an email autoresponder at first. And then I would set up like, for example, a mini chat where if somebody like DMs you a word, it sends them the link and any other information that you would want them to send. So slowly over time, all of my Go Me Club, that I would say 99% of it was me just tracking. I did this and I did this and I did this. And then I noticed the results. And then I would just track the outcome at the top of the month. It would say like beginning of the month, this, end of the month, this for monthly recurring revenue. So this one thing, here's what happens is if you're not tracking, you're doing all of this work. And even if you are doing things towards it, if you can't see the progress that you're making, your mind automatically assumes none has been made. Your brain does not like the unknown. It does not perform well in the unknown for most people. So what all you're doing is you're satisfying that like chaotic, frantic, empty energy that's happening in your body of like, I don't even know what's happening. Like, so if I don't know what's happening, probably nothing. I'm probably not doing it. I'm probably not being successful. Like I said, progress is humanity's kink and we are all dirty little sluts for it. So if you know what's happening, even if you've only made 2% progress, you're like, your mind is like, oh my God, I'm applying energy towards this thing. It's working, it's working, it's working, it's working, it's working. And then it gives you more energy to make more of it work and be so. Your mind has only a certain amount or your body only has a certain amount of energy that can be used every single day. It is a finite amount of energy. And so it's going to have you apply your energy towards the things that it believes you can actually win. So if we just do this one little thing where we show ourselves like, this is where I'm winning, I'm doing it. Even if it's little bit, your mind is like, it's working. We can use more resources here because there's great value. Even if you were making progress before, it probably felt harder because your mind didn't know it. This one thing I'm telling you, game over. So that's the one thing that I'm like, you can take this. Anybody can do it. Most people won't. That's the disappointing part. I think we're going to have a higher conversion rate of people actually executing this in my community because you guys are the 2%ers already. So I want to hear from you guys. Hit me up in the DM. I want to hear about your Go Me clubs. People message me all the time. And like, if you're in my Legend in the Making community, it's my $59 a month subscription where you guys get a minimum of 8 unique pieces of content of exactly what I'm doing in my business right now, the needle moving behaviors, what I'm doing in life, business, and love. And you guys are getting it live as it's happening. Like the day I do something, I'm like, oh, the Legend in the Making community needs to hear about this. Like you guys get that. Everybody in the Legend in the Making community knows what Go Me Club is because they blow up our Voxer chat and they're like, Go Me Club, I did this. Go Me Club, I did this. You guys get it. If you guys are hearing this now for the first time ever and you're like, you know what? That sounds simple. I get the logic behind it. I get the psychology behind it. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to open up my note right now. I'm going to pick 1, 2, maybe 3 things that I'm going to track, controllable things that I can track. And every single month, I'm going to go in there. In fact, I recommend not doing it once a month. I recommend doing it minimum once a week, if not once a day, just going in there and adding it to your list. I did this thing and this thing and this thing, and watch that list grow. What I noticed is January 2022, my Go Me Club list was short. However, because I immediately noticed the benefit and how it was making me excited, more motivated, and propelling me forward, February, I took it more seriously. And I went into the list. I went into my note much more often and I updated it more frequently. February, things started growing even faster. And then March, things started growing faster. The rest of the months of the year continue to grow faster. So if you guys looked at my notes, it will be like small. January, a small list. February, bigger list. Bigger. Because I started noticing a direct relation between me keeping that list updated and me actually achieving my goals, intentions, desires much faster. And my overall satisfaction of life improved so much. If you guys are a visionary, if you guys are a go-getter, which all of you guys are, I don't even have to fucking ask you guys. One of the things that's like our greatest asset is that we can see the future. We have big visions. We have the balls to go for it. The thing that we're not so great at is like slowing down to recognize ourselves. I remember the first time I ever hired a paid coach. I think I paid her like $250 a month and I like almost died. I was so uncomfortable. I'm like, this is the biggest investment into myself I've ever made. Holy shit. Like, this is so scary. Or maybe it was like $250 a week or something. I don't know. I charge $2,000 an hour now and I'm just like, I can't imagine. But this is now one of my best friends. She charges much more today. But at the time, at the end of the 3 months that we worked together, she gave me a list and she's like, here are all of the things that you accomplished in the last 90 days. This was in December. And I was like, you know what? I had an okay year. It wasn't that great. And then she handed me the list and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I did all this. I was like shocked. Because I gave myself no credit for any of that. I never slowed down to acknowledge the significance of you do so much. You're such a go-getter. And that list that she gave me back in, I want to say like 2013, changed my life forever. But it didn't become like a significant part of my life and even a part of my brand until 2022 when it was like critical and I needed it. But I remembered that one moment and I was like, let me do that for myself. I don't need to pay somebody else to do that. I can do that for me. I can set an alarm on my calendar for the same time every week. I can sit down. It literally takes 5 minutes. This is the best way to do it. Whenever I have a win, I'll screenshot something on my phone to remind myself of it. And then when I go to update my list, I just go through my screenshot folder. Now I can look back through the last several years and I can go through all of my years and all of my months. In fact, I will vulnerably say I stopped doing this probably in the last 6 months. And I was like, why did I do that? I keep looking at my to-do list and I'm like, am I really getting anything done? And I'm like, I stopped doing Go Me Club. I used to call it Stacking Club. If you guys have heard me call it that before. I casually, when I was interviewed on the Mind Valley Coaching podcast, for some reason, the words Go Me Club popped out of my mouth. And he responded and he's like, whoa, I love that. And I'm like, oh, you guys like that better. Fine. My marketing often changes by slipping and saying the wrong things. But Go Me Club has been the thing that has stuck. And I literally realized this week, I'm like, when did I stop doing Go Me Club? And I fucking feel it. Okay. So you guys are going to blow up my DMs and you're going to be like, Go Me Club, I did this. Go Me Club, I did it. And you guys are going to tell me from this one podcast episode in the next 4 weeks, I bet some of you guys are going to have some significant wins that you're going to come celebrate. So set something right now, open up your phone, put a reminder on your calendar that says, send Andrea a DM to celebrate Go Me Club. And I will be in, you guys, I'm in my DMs. I see almost all of them. And if I miss them, my assistant messages me if it's something that she knows that I'm going to want to see. These are the things she'll always make sure that I see. So have no fear. I will see them and I will respond to them fucking personally, I do every time. I love this shit. It's one of my favorite things ever to be able to see your guys' Go Me Club. Okay. That's the most practical thing that I swear to God is so simple that anybody can do it. Most people won't. You guys will. And we'll celebrate that in 4 weeks. And you guys are going to tell me some of the things that have happened in your life. And if you guys want to message me once a month, I don't know about you guys. I don't know. I don't actually think I'm weird. I think this is actually quite a normal thing. I have a little bit of a praise kink. And if I know somebody will celebrate me, I'm going to be like, I have literally thought, I'm like, I should just pay someone that, number one, I want to be in close proximity with. Number two, I respect tremendously because they have done what I want to do. They've gone where I want to go, and they've done it through the values in which I want to get there. And I should just pay them to be able to like message them and celebrate my Go Me clubs because I know myself. All they have to do is be like, good job. And I'm going to be like, I can do anything. Like if they're genuinely excited with me, it has to be like authentic excitement and enthusiasm. But like if somebody, I swear, I'm like, I just need to actually execute this. I'm going to figure out who my person is and I'm just going to message them because it's costing me more not to have done this. That's step 2. Okay. Next step is, let me just go back to some of my notes from Victoria. So she says she's trying to expand her nervous system to receive well. She still feels like she's working really hard. What can she do to like increase receptivity? So here's the thing. Receptivity happens as a natural byproduct to safety. There's a lot of people out there like teaching receptivity when the truth is you don't have to even learn receptivity if you already feel safe. You'll just be doing it. You'll just be receptive and things will be happening and you'll be in motion. There'll be no friction. You'll just be like doing the things. That was one of the other things that Victoria said, and somebody sent a DM in my little question box today for the recording of these episodes. And she's like, every time I sit down to actually do the thing, I like can't get it done. She goes into like a state of freeze. This isn't a receptivity issue. This is a safety issue. If you heal the trigger that's creating the lack of safety, your body will be in motion before you even know it. Like I said, like I was already fighting with Keith before I knew what I was fighting about. Having said that, I have many habits and patterns that I don't actually consciously choose to do anymore that are really good for me. I wake up in the morning, I go downstairs, I grab the chlorophyll from the refrigerator, I put it into my water, I chug my water, I hydrate first, I like do good things to detox my body. I'm not really thinking about it. It's just a part of my natural routine. My body, my mind, it's just like, these are the things that we do that are going to be useful to us. And I just do them. Nobody has to tell me to sit down and work. Like, because I've moved the things that have created friction in a sense of and a lack of safety. When I removed those, my body was just in motion, and I just find myself, sometimes it's 10:30 at night and I'm sitting there working on a sales page. Sometimes I'm, taking a Wednesday afternoon off because I feel safe to also rest. Like it has nothing to, the conversation around receptivity is just slightly twisted. People are sending you in the wrong direction. You don't actually have to learn receptivity. You just have to apply safety. Now, applying safety is easier said than done. Could I sit here and teach a 6-month class on how to do this for yourself? Yes. Not all of you are needing to figure out how to do this for yourself. I'm one of those people where I'm like I said, it was 38 before I learned how to do this really well, but I learned how to do it really well because I paid somebody to do it for me first. Once I started having other people do it for me, then I was like, you know what? I want to learn how to do this for myself and others too. But I will say that there will be more loss of potential income by you trying to like navigate this and figure it out all on your own. And my personal recommendation for you is not to try to do this yourself. Just go hire an expert. Like if you want to hire me, you can hire me. If you want to hire somebody else, go hire somebody else, but find an expert. If you guys want somebody that can do this for you day or night, 365 days a year, 24/7, day, like rain or shine, when I'm sleeping, when I'm not, like that's what I created Legend AI for. Legend AI is my brain, but available 24/7 and has a skill set to do what I do for my clients. So if you want to pay me, almost $9,000 a month and be a private client of mine, I'll be accessible to you during my aligned business hours. If you want to have access to a tool that would be exactly like working with me, but works much more and faster. It's my brain on AI crack, then that's what I built Legend AI for. And we actually just launched a 30-day trial. So if somebody's like, I'm not sure if I really want to commit to this whole tool, I need to get a feel for it, you guys can do a 30-day trial. There's no subscription, so you don't have to cancel anything. So you can just pay $4.99. You can try Legend AI Unlimited for 30 days. And if you're like, oh my God, all of a sudden, I actually asked people in my Boxer group yesterday, and I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to read some of them. This is the thing that's like, it eliminates the hesitation. So if you guys are like, I'm not taking action on the needle moving things, like I'm scared of visibility. That was one of the things that Victoria said, like, how do I move through visibility fears that like, I'm not supported, that nobody helps, that nobody cares. Like Legend crushes those. She eats those for fucking breakfast and she does it in minutes. So like I've said, like this is the thing. If you guys want a tool and you guys want to be able to move fast, acquire a tool, acquire a human, acquire a level of expertise that already knows how to get it done. So you don't have to have this massive learning curve, because with the learning curve, amazing, love that for you. At the same time, it's just delayed income that isn't coming in right now. It will cost you so much more. Think about like what you could be making. I mean, I went from, I don't know, like 2022, I had like a $20,000 month, again, with people on payroll in February. And then by August, I had my first $100,000 month. So that was like a 5x increase from February, because I was doing this for myself. I was my own Legend AI. I had acquired the skill in the previous year, and then I was doing it for myself. But like the whole previous year could have been my first $1 million year, instead of 2022 being, we were just shy of $1 million, but we did about $1 million in 2022. So Kelsey said, as someone with ADHD struggles, Legend has increased my productivity 10x. I no longer go into freeze. I'm excited to work on projects. It feels like I'm co-working because it gives me the sense of accountability, partnership, rather than doing tasks alone. Somebody else said, Legend has helped me with productivity because she shifts the energy behind the task. I tell Legend what needs to get done, even the laundry. I love this. And Legend makes it fun. So the energy shifts from obligatory energy to fun to desirable energy, because who doesn't want to fucking have fun? Like, exactly. She's me, but she's AI and she doesn't sleep. And she's not almost $9,000 a month, where you guys can access her 24/7, and just like the proximity and access. And like, I can't even respond to all my clients who pay me that well and that fast. Like a lot of times I'm like, ask, like all my private clients get Legend for free now. I'm like, ask Legend that. I'm not available right now to you. So I basically have a me assistant for my client when I can't be there for them one-on-one. Okay. So going back to Victoria, one of the things that I think about for myself was like, I was, like I said, 38 before I figured out how to do this for myself. When I started, I hired someone, and by the time that I was like clearing the hesitation and clearing the fear and clearing the visibility issues. I remember the first time like Catherine Zinkina messaged me and she's like, are you taking on private clients? And I'm like, why the fuck would she want to hire me? She makes like 10x my income, right? But what I had done that other people in the industry weren't doing, independent of how much money that they were making, was like my client just said, like, I figured out how to make things lighter, easier, more fun. I like held strong to my values of like simplicity. And you guys have heard me say, like, I moved from pleasure, not pressure, not a penny from pressure, only pleasure, for the, like, since basically the beginning of 2022, I started that experiment, and it's held strong every single day since, making like close to $4 million now in my business, when before I was working so fucking hard. It doesn't mean I don't have days where I work intentionally. It doesn't mean I don't have days where I'm like, I worked a 10-hour day, I think, yesterday. And then there's other days that I work too, but I do it because I'm doing it from a state of like, I'm moving from my heart. When we work from our brain of, I have to do this, like, this is the guarantee. Like, this is where I'm just like, dear God, the girlies are trying to do this from burnout again. Please save us. Like, whenever we're doing it from our mind, it costs so much energy. When we're doing it from our heart, when we initiate something from our heart, from our love, from our deepest sense of like intuition and why are here, the amount of energy that we have access to is exponentially more, significantly more. So even if you work a 10-hour day, you're going to get to the end of it and you're going to be like, that felt amazing. It just feels satisfying versus it feels like your castle is built from Legos and like one small move, it's all going to fucking crumble down. I don't know if Legos are pretty sturdy, but like insert other metaphor. So getting back to the end of the question here for you guys, and Victorious, thank you so much for asking this question. Like you do not have a receptivity issue. If you are especially a woman, like your most natural state, how your biology is built is to be magnetic and receptive, where like money seeks you, opportunities seek you, people get excited to hire you, or all of a sudden like somebody coming to you that makes 10x your income is like, I want to hire you. She didn't hire me because I knew how to help her make more money than she did. She was hiring me because she was missing her magnetism. And she was like ready to get back into doing it for her again. And sometimes we need help and support. And sometimes especially, I wrote on my sales page yesterday, I said at first when I was trying to figure out like how I get from, I'd been stuck at a similar income state for about 3 years. And I remember thinking like, oh, I feel plateaued. This felt really frustrating. Hear people all over the internet, Tony Robbins included. Tony Robbins would always say, you don't get your wants, you get your standards. And I was like, I have a standards issue. What I realized is that I'm a Virgo. I have no fucking standards issue. I have very high standards. It was my ability to hold the standards. It was ability to hold myself to the standards. It was my ability to hold other people to the standards that was my issue because I was afraid. I was afraid of losing something. It always boils back down to fear. And I'm going to end with where we started, which is the most successful women on the planet are not the people who are the prettiest, the smartest, most educated, or the most resourced. They are the ones who know how to make themselves move and other people too. When you figure that out for yourself, and I've said this before too, I say all the time, I'm like, the most dangerous woman on this planet is not the one who loves herself, but the one who understands herself. Because when you start to understand yourself, you start to accept it. You start to understand, you accept, and then love happens as a natural byproduct anyway. People don't ask, you won't even ask. Hold on, I have to like riff on this for a second because it really pisses me off, like for you, not at you. I put a little question box up, I'm like recording content. What do you guys want to hear from me? What do you want to ask? Like, how do I feel more worthy? You don't have a worthiness issue either. You don't have a standards issue. You don't have a worthiness issue. Worthiness, this idea of like, I have to feel more worthy, all that really means is it's just a way to disguise, I want to feel more accepted by others. And if I feel accepted by others, if other people reflect back to me acceptance, then I'll know that I'll be okay and I'll be able to accept myself. This is all boils back down to fear. What's at the bottom layer of all of this? Pull the fear. Worthiness happens as a natural byproduct. You don't have to try to be worthy anymore. In fact, you don't even ask if you're worthy anymore. Like worthiness is like a non-issue. You're like, why would I even ask that? It's just, I have this idea. I want it. Do I have access to this idea? Am I really interested in it? There's only 2 ingredients that you need to actually get what you want. Number 1, truly want it, have genuine interest in it. And number 2, access. And if you don't access, can you build it? If you don't already have access, can you build it? When people get something really quick and other people are like, oh, wow, they have like they must really believe in themselves. They must really feel worthy. It just means that they felt no friction moving towards it. The friction being like, will I be accepted? Will I be accepted if I make a mistake along the way? If I fumble publicly, will I still be accepted? If I get there and other people around me, and I have something other people around me don't, will I still be accepted? Will I lose love? It has nothing to do with worthiness. It has to do with your relationship with fear around losing connection. Worthiness is like such a convoluted, like unnecessary. You will never, hear this clearly. This is the last thing I'm going to say to you. You will never even bother to ask again or question your worthiness if you solve the sense of safety underneath it. It won't even be a thing. Non-issue, complete. Cut tape and goodbye. I love you guys. If this episode was supportive to you, if you heard one thing that you're like, fuck, I really needed to hear that, number one, please send me a DM. As I mentioned, I have a praise kink. I love to hear from you guys. I want to know that like what I'm creating for you guys actually is meaningful in your lives. Number two, if you guys know anybody else that you know needs to hear this episode, sharing is caring. Please grab the link for this, send it to a friend, but don't just send it to them. Send them a message and say, I thought of you because, and let them know, like, I know that you've been going through this thing. I know that you really want this. I believe this will help you because people's most precious resource today is their time. And if we really want to make an impact for each other, sharing these like beautiful, like podcast academy, YouTube academy. My daughter's sitting right over here as we're filming. And like, she did my makeup before we got started. She went to school at YouTube Academy. We have all of these free resources where we can just learn these amazing skills that we can get paid for handsomely for free. And all we have to do is share them with other people and we're all going to win together. I keep telling you guys I'm ending this episode, but I have this last little thing. I like cleared an old trigger of mine and it went back to like some girl wasn't really nice and accepting to me when I was younger. And I remember thinking as I was like healing this inner child thing for myself, I'm like, how would it feel to like see her today and be like, look, I made it. And then I saw my like little second grade self and she's not rubbing it in the girl's face. And she's like, come with us. You can do it too. Literally, like, I almost want to cry. I'm like, even in second grade, I was always just like a come with me girl. And I just like know I'm surrounded with other come with me girls. And so that's why I thank you guys so much for sharing this free resource with your friends. Like we're all come with me girls and we are all going to build the most significant emotional capacity to realize any fucking dream that God places in our heart. And my wish for you is that the second that God gives you the desire, that you already know what to do to create a friction-free experience to be able to go after it. You hire me, you come back here to the podcast, you learn something new, you grab Legend AI, you hire somebody else that can do work like this. I don't know. I don't care. Just figure it out. Make a decision today. I'm going to go acquire and access a tool or a human that can help remove the friction. So the second that God says go, I'm already in motion. That's what I see for you. I love you. Go be legendary. And that's a wrap on today's episode of More Live. But you already know the conversation doesn't end here. In fact, if you check the show notes, you will see that there's a link where you can essentially like leave us a voicemail. You can comment on today's episode, tell us what was your mic drop moment, and you can also ask questions. Your audio might be featured on a future More Live episode. So also, if something in today's episode really hit home with you, share it. Think about somebody who might need to hear that. And you guys already know, I love chatting with you guys in the DMs. So come over to Instagram, slide into my DMs and tell me what hit hardest today. I want to hear from you. And if you want to keep this energy going, you already know, let's make this official. Subscribe, leave a review, and let's turn this shit into a movement because you know, the more alive you feel, the more alive the world becomes.